Death could have possibly shut out that lane a little bit quicker, but at least it means your cores are still able to get some semblance of farm.
They're hunting some of those cores though, Katomi. A wrong guess on the blink. Not going to say he's actually going to think about turning. It'd be a pretty valuable kill as Monet's going to try and charge in the middle, but the Static Storm gives an opportunity for the Doom to be laid down, and now no one with the counter. Lands the Wukongs. He's in some danger, but once the boy...
Your cores are still able to get some semblance of farm.
They're hunting some of those cores though, Katomi. A wrong guess on the blink. Not going to say he's actually going to think about turning. It'd be a pretty valuable kill as Monet's going to try and charge in the middle, but the Static Storm gives an opportunity for the Doom to be laid down, and now no one with the counter. Lands the Wukongs. He's in some danger, but once the boys show up, Watson goes uncontested again with the Lina showcasing her raw damage output, and nothing to say. He'll be chased down to the ends of the earth. Or did they even get a glimpse of him? Ducks into the trees of the TPR. He'll actually be okay.
Will. It means that they don't lose their tier 2 tower up on the top side. Watson was just peppering it with right clicks at that stage, but with those boots of travel, he can just join in onto any sort of team fight that they're wanting. Another one of the advantages of being able to play around not just a bunch of creep waves that are pushing in quite heavily, but you've got those Eidolons to be able to use as well.
The one is underneath the observer ward, so yeah, it's going to give Provoker an opportunity to be able to jump on forward, but the BKB is still available. No one wants to turn over, nothing to say up on the high ground as the sniper really got the damage output. No one wants to jump over the top, gets close to the sniper, making it very difficult for nothing to say to feel free to right click, and Grenade's not going to enter. Let's see what the win range is able to output. Locks onto the Lina, but it's not going to be enough in the end. They will pay some respect with the BKB expiring, almost able to get the glimpse back.
That was nowhere near enough, and it was all because of the Crimson Guard, right? DM just pops it, and that win range, it just feels so ineffective with all of those shots going everywhere, the arrows flying around. They tickle at that stage.
A gift from the temple.
They're doing... It's not really going to change anytime soon. I mean, Monet is recognizing the lack of damage there with the Daedalus queued up. But that is quite a way away for him to be able to get to that stage.
Mm-hmm. It was the right idea.
They just
needed more people
is he...
there.
Oh my god. Okay. Double Bracer, Solar Crest, Gossamer Cape. He's got 2200 health apparently on the Disruptor. So, quite tanky. It's a cool build.
Yeah, I mean, the Gossamer Cape feels nice against the Wind Ranger, right? You know you're only going to get hit maybe like a few... Not harvested, I mean, probably like 5 quarter.
So Dawn Force stuff's going to be able to get the Doom target out of threat. Looks like Noah's going to try and make the attempt onto X-Nova, who should be okay unless Watson's going to be able to step in range. It's pretty deep inside Radiant's territory, but apparently it doesn't matter. Baboka now offers an opportunity here with the lasso, but he's like, team? Anyone? No one said. No one was actually there to try and use the lasso. JT, his teleport scroll was on cooldown. Monet had one available, but he didn't want to go back.
Feels like very, very disconnected team right now here from G2. I think that was one of the issues that Bobik has had on previous teams, is that he can be a little silent in a lot of their games, right? Like, they need him to be able to speak up. They need him to say when something is available, and it felt like, he was assuming that his team was behind, and you know what they say about assuming.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Over to Roche they go. This time it will be at least the Roche without a contest afterwards, so Aegis into the banner and a potential higher ground siege soon, which I suppose still is something that we need to, I would say Cloud9 need to be a little bit more cautious on, with the ability for them to position themselves and maybe find a lasso
JT.
into blowing someone up. At JT inside the river, make it to the high ground. They are wrapping on all angles. I think they got a glimpse. I don't know who pinged, but so
A rough idea of where he was, and I'm sure that the rooster crying out, saying it was daytime, was like, oh, I gotta get out of here. They could probably see me at this point, but he's still able to get away with his life. Still Watson, though. He is having an absolute banger. Didn't want to be shown up by Duraccio. with a carry performance. Not quite at that stage yet, but certainly starting off incredibly well. 8-0 and 4, no deaths. Really building into the Monkey King bar as well.
Pops out of the invis, says hello to X Nova. And another kill for them onto the Sven. 8 deaths. And a godlike yoink from Watson.
You are a true friend.
Yeah, I just don't see X Nova when I see Sven, Like it just doesn't fit this style. I want to see those big team fighters. I want to see the Phoenix. I want to see the Bane. I want to see the Disruptor even from him. Ivan.
They're not giving that role this game, and see they are struggling. Maybe not necessarily too much as a result of that, but just overall they're having a lot of difficulty for G2IG. This T2 tower is going to go down. Looks like top lane is going to be the choice for them. They're not on the high ground. Are they going to start? Lasso's going to be popped. Counter Nation's going to be there in regards to the Doom, but keep in mind, Watson has got the Aegis. They're not even going to kill him. Watson gets out. No one gets out as well. Like, if you can't kill them then, when are you going to be able to get someone?
Yeah. I mean, I suppose they didn't have JT there. They forced his TP back, but he wasn't actually there for that engagement. So you've still got the Tipasaur's damage yet to come, but I see no BKB yet for Watson as well, right? So if it does extend out, not only do you have this late game Enigma, late game Doom, late game Disruptor, very, very strong, you've also got a 9-second BKB, probably at about like the 37 or so minute mark for Watson that you're going to have to deal with. Pretty scary considering he nullifies almost everything that the Timbersaw is able to do.
Some 1-8 out of the base, and you see instantly Katoma with the Shadow Blade looking to try and see if there's an opportunity. Maybe they want this Tormentor, but okay, nice entry. Katoma is still able to get the leap over the top. It will be a response, so a lot of damage out of the Doom. Sven's not going to be able to live for a potential further fight. They don't want to give away the Tormentor though. G2IG starting to come out of the base. No one is not with the team as well currently.
I wonder if they're just a little mindful of the Sven having the buyback. That might be the discussion saying, has he died enough? 9 deaths? Does he have enough money to be able to buy back? But any sort of time that you're looking to try and get a 5v4 situation, or there's the risk of that happening, probably best to just back off.
Focus solo smoke as well. Just looking to try and combine with, but they're wasting a little bit of time. Water duration now gone. Having to shove out mid and then look for a play, but see, Cloud9 is starting to get back to their half of the map.
I mean, they got to find
It's
DM
slow.
before he's able to pop everything. That's the main target. To be able to claim anything. Stuck inside the smoke, just farming jungle camps. It's making time, I suppose, for Monet to be able to get closer and closer towards the should have level 20 at that time as well, so some more reduced damage reduction, I guess is the best way to put it, from the focus fire. Already having such a difficult time going up against that Crimson Guard. Do they have any offensive dispels yet? They do.
On who? Cloud9?
Yeah, no, on G2.
They have the nullifier. Oh, sorry, okay, sorry.
They need something that's going to go through that Crimson. The damage is just nowhere.
1-8 is kind of close to 700 gold away from Daedalus. It's still going to take a little bit of time. 30 seconds left on the Aegis. You see, can be a little bit risky. You're maybe trying to dangle someone's life and get these squishy heroes to reveal themselves. They're going to go for the lasso once again, but if you group up, DM's Black Hole is going to be ready. Still Watson Aegis for another 15 seconds. There's the Black Hole. DM hit finds 3. With the Wukong's combination, it's just perfect. You're going to be relying on the buybacks, and they'll use all of them that they've got to try and turn the tides. Watson's Aegis out in 5 seconds, but they'll get him down to the low ground. Regen's going to be there, and they can go back in. What a Black Hole from DM. And they're not done. They get a glimpse of 1-8 stepping a little bit too far forward. He used the BKB, so use the buyback prior. He's got the BKB at least now, but there's nothing left in the tank. No damage at all. This is Cloud9's home now.
They're just, no one's just going in. No fear in the world. Using that nullifier to be able to pick up the sniper. No buyback.
GG.
No G2IG.
What a performance.
They played into their hands perfectly, right? They didn't crush mid lane as hard as I thought they would. They didn't go anywhere. Coffee.
Some kills, get some objectives, and then when you got the Batrider Blink, and I should say, we'll see what G2IG are going to be able to do as well, because again, this you take this game and then all of a sudden we're going to say it's a great performance, 1-1, but you know we need to see something a little bit different from them, because at least in that game, in that draft, we didn't see much. They didn't particularly give themselves too much of an opportunity here to actually be proactive and take the fight. What G2IG are going to be able to do as well, because again, this is a team with a lot of expectations. They haven't been able to pull too many good results so far out of the year. Of course, it's just game one. Potentially they're going to take this game and then all of a sudden we're going to say it's a great performance, 1-1, but we need to see something a little bit different from them, because at least in that game, in that draft, we didn't see much. They didn't particularly give themselves too much of an opportunity here to actually be proactive and take the fight to Cloud9.
If you ask me about G2IG at the very start of this tournament, I would probably say they are the team with the biggest difference between their floor and the ceiling. And we saw the floor in that game number one, right? But the positive is their ceiling is very good. They're able to get top 3 in many, many different international tournaments if they are performing to their fullest potential. Just for whatever reason, it did not come together at all in that game number one. We even saw with that X-Nova interview when Pyrion was asking him to rank his top 3, top 4, he didn't put his own team in there. And I feel like you got to have a little bit of that confidence in there to be able to put yourself. But, he mentioned XG, Falcons, GG, and Spirit. Nowhere said there was G2IG. So I wonder if there's a little bit going on, because they're absolutely a team of champions, but are they a champion team? That remains to be seen.
Yeah, it does. We've seen in the past there has been the China powerhouse. I think definitely the big one being Elephant, where they were just unable to really pull the results up. Honestly, a lot of people were expecting with the players on that team. So we'll see if this is going to be a bit of a difference. So we do have our second draft underway in G2IG. Now, a lot of respect. The Monkey King is going to be banned out. The Enigma is going to be banned out as well. So we'll have to see what gets let through the pool now with these heroes being respected.
Naga's still banned. I'm telling you, man, it is going to be first. Not even first phase, first banned. Pretty much every time. Her and Tinker are just way too good. So yeah, like you said, what does slip on through? Still the Lina there, still the Wind Ranger there. I could see Chen, I could see Enchantress still coming through. That'd be totally fine. I'm a little puzzled as to why we're not seeing as much Phoenix, because I think it's just as good as it used to be. Yeah, little nerfs here and there, but just what it provides at TI is just too good, right? You're able to have an escape. You've got the mischance. You've got a great ultimate. You've got heals coming through. You've got percent, so you can scale. You can do so much with no items. All these sort of things come together and make it a really good hero. And X-Nova's great on the hero as well. So, this is the sort of thing that I'm wanting to see from them. Probably not first pick, but just something that has at least a minor amount of flexibility coming through from G2IG.
Okay, so Nature's Band, which means the Omni and the Bane slip through, and they'll go down the Shadow Demon route. So
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
It's an X-Nova hero. It's a Bobica hero. It means that you've got ways to stack, so you just want to make sure that you've got someone that's able to take full advantage of that and play around them as your win condition. It's just a good overall start, right? And eventually you've got, break capabilities. You've got that ongoing purge, so you don't really want to go something like I was about to say Wind Ranger, just holding my word until it wasn't picked. But yeah, it's not really a Wind Ranger game ever if you're playing against a Shadow Demon, just because Wind Run feels pretty useless.
So we do get the DM staple though with the Centaur, probably his definitely his better hero, one of his better ones, I should say. So it will of course give G2IG plenty of time to find a way to deal with it. We'll see if the Bane gets banned out or if they just now at the second second phase, I feel like they need to maybe ban some other heroes, but again, maybe Omni isn't something you need to worry about with the purge on the Shadow Demon, but again, Fishman's Bane could be a bit of a concern. Better ones, I should say. So it will, of course, give G2IG plenty of time to find a way to deal with it. We'll see if the Bane gets banned out, or if they just now at the second phase, I feel like they need to maybe ban some other heroes, but again, maybe Omni isn't something you need to worry about with the purge. On the Shadow Demon, but again, Fishman's Bane could be a bit of a concern. We'll see. I don't know if this needs to be prioritized.
Yeah, I mean, certainly I don't think you're going to be seeing it on G2IG. That just feels way too squish, lacking in damage, doesn't feel great by any stretch. But yeah, like you said, for Fishman, feels not too bad, right? Like you've got a way to be able to sort of counteract what the Shadow Demon is trying to do for you. I'm always just down for more stuff that's able to find the Shadow Demon in any sort of games, because you can do so much if you're left on your own. So what do? Just find him. Easy clap. Monkey King.
Easy clap, okay.
Not going to be in the pool, but I mean, it's Cloud9, right? It's no one, or Noon, as Period Flax was about to say, but he prefers no one, so we're going to go with no one. Storm, Puck, give me these sorts of things that Shadow Demon doesn't exactly have the greatest time against, and that can just absolutely ruin him.
Flashband is interesting. When I was taking a look at some of the players and what they've been playing in pubs, I've seen some support Lesh be picked up. I think an aura builder that can also do a ridiculous amount of damage with just staying alive through some of the team fights, and have seen the misanthropy, I think is how you pronounce it, with the diabolic edict not affecting buildings, but just the explosion rate being increased. So is maybe something to keep our eye out on so far through the rest of the tournament?
Possibly. Yeah, we've seen it flex to a position 4 as well a few times, so I can see that certainly being a possibility. Enchantress coming through, so again, more of that pressure, more ways to be able to find the Shadow Demon, a little bit of heals, so you're going to be able to counteract the Shadow Poison somewhat. Instant ban on the Nyx, not wanting to give that one over to Bobica, one of his really solid heroes as well, to be able to play against, instantly able to kill a bunch of these creeps too, so you can see that working. So what do you do now against the Enchantress? Like, is this something where Bobica wants to go the Rubik? If so, damage kind of lacking. Can you go a Hoodwink? I could see it working. Just stuff that keeps people held in place. Again, means that Stampede's not going to be as effective. You've got great scaling capabilities. Techies, no one really seems to be picking it right now, so probably not that. Clockwork, huh? Okay. Little low on damage, I still got to say, and I feel like you can continue to get bullied in the lane. Maybe it's a Bobica Shadow Demon 4 and a X-Nova Clockwork 5 and a Wind Ranger 1. I could see that working, although into the Centaur, Wind Ranger doesn't exactly feel the greatest.
Yeah. Maybe it's, I was going to say, a little bit better with the new facet, but even then it's still going to prove to be a pretty big issue, so...
Then just everyone buys Blade Mail. And then you just die.
Cool ultimate, bro. What are you going to do? Just right-click? All right, cool. So, yeah, they still believe in the win rate. I mean, you just lost one game. It's nothing crazy. But again, Monet has been picking this a lot, and we've seen Nothing to Say play it previously. But again, really want to see some other heroes and other ways to make plays. And definitely would say the Clockwork is able to do so. The Shadow Demon can be a little bit more as a playmaker. I mean, you really depend on other heroes as well. And there's the Phoenix. I mean, this is a hero you're asking for, right?
It's a good hero. I feel like a lot of people have forgotten this, but it's TI time and people are going to remember. We haven't seen any Tiny either. I think maybe... No, the nerfs weren't too much. I think people are just used to seeing him be giga busted. So he'll come back eventually once we get to the stages where the games start to drag on a little bit further. Once, people remember that repositioning is a really good tool to be able to have. High amount of burst damage. I can see it working.
I mean, so pretty goddamn good Timbersaw game.
It
A lot
is.
of strength heroes. You can say eventually that, yeah, like the percent damage on the Sunray could be frustrating and maybe like ultra late game impetus if the Enchantress has some items. But really, this looks like a very good a very good Timber game where you were already saying like probably Clockwork wanted to lane with the Wind Ranger and the SB getting played from Baboka, and you can now kind of leave the Timber, go back, make some stacks, and really help enable him to have a good game. And again, there's a lot of flex. Maybe you can't actually put it mid because we have actually seen like DK do really well versus the Timber. With that being said, I haven't seen them match up like within the last month. If anything has changed, especially with him not being universal anymore. But seems like overall you'd be pretty happy with to put it off lane.
Yeah, but then the DK can just go 1, right? And Cloud9 are the ones that get to make that decision. So I agree. It is a very good Timber game. It's just a question of, well, they don't have an egg hitter right now as well. That's also a big concern for mine. They need a way to be able to deal with that somewhat. Are they going to get a Lina for themselves? Mid Snapfire kind of garb. Mirana, we've seen people try and make that work, but how effective is that actually going to be against these really tanky heroes like the Centaur and the DK?
I was going to say, my issue with going for an egg hitter last, though, is like, again, where is their playmaking? Like, maybe the Clockwork and Timber can play together, but it might just be a similar issue to what we saw previously. So, I mean, I very much agree that you're lacking ways to deal with the egg, but then they could just go back into the same fault that we saw in the last game.
I would have liked the Mirana. I feel like you can playmake somewhat with it, right? You get Arrow set up with the disruption, you've got Cogs plus Arrow, you've got a high amount of burst damage, you've got an egg hitter, so it's a very good ban coming through from C9. And again, like, you are lacking heavily in stuns, right? Like, you might be able to hook in onto the Phoenix, and you might be able to, like, Timber Chain, get a bunch of burst damage, but you're probably not going to kill the Phoenix. Like, Egg's going to come out, Sunray's going to come out. Like, right now, they need a way to actually stun the Phoenix in position and kill it, because it is going to cause way too much havoc if you don't.
Like, I'm trying to think of heroes that Nothing to Say can play, because like he's been playing a lot of Puck and a lot of Ember in pubs, but into DK, you really, I mean, they're good matchups for the Dragon Knight. I'm trying to see some other options for him to run. Your Primal Beast is currently banned. I mean, he's got a very large hero pool, but the DK can kind of make it a little bit more tricky on what heroes you want to play mid.
Can you go Ursa 1 against the DK and Centaur, and it's a bit of an egg hitter, and run the Wind Ranger mid?
Yeah, I don't mind it. Okay, they're Puck.
Sure.
I really didn't mind your option, to be honest. Your choice.
Would have been that, or like Alchemist would have been my choices. Maybe even a Lifestealer, but no one's really picking Lifestealer.
I don't know if they can Ursa as well on Cloud9 and see what the decision. I mean,
I feel like you just put DK1 and then you can like Ember here, and I think it's fine.
You
More
want
stuff to find the backline. Sure.
Okay.
Feels pretty good in my eyes for C9 this game. Oh, Watson TA too.
Yeah. You say that a lot about a lot of his heroes, honestly. He's very diverse hero pool.
Yeah, I think Cloud9 will win this one.
Okay. So there's the slight changes that we see out of G2IG. You're not going to give them an advantage here with the draft. You feel like Cloud9 still have got it?
I don't see the damage coming from the Shadow Demon and the Clockwork. I think this game is going to be so heavily on the backs of JT and Nothing to Say. I don't necessarily know if there's going to be too much different happening in the safe lane in particular. Like, Monet is probably going to get bullied pretty heavily. X-Nova not going to be able to stop too much of that. It's actually X-Nova playing the Shadow Demon, huh? Don't know how I feel about that. you know, I was totally on board with everything that you were saying about Bobica playing the Shadow Demon, have him be making a bunch of stacks for JT to be able to pick up his farm. You could even say the same sort of thing for Nothing to Say as well. And, you know, having Bobica there as like a shield for Monet would have been really nice, but I don't know. It just feels a little odd to me. Xnova is a Shadow Demon player, and he's a very good Shadow Demon player, but I'm not sure if this is the game for it.
I think a concern for me that I see is how G2IG are going to be able to deal with the eventual two supports playing mid with the Dragonite. Again, we've seen this in the past that the puck into the DK matchup can be very frustrating, not only because you have a point target stun, but also just like Puck doesn't really have the ability early game to be able to shove the wave out and pressure the Dragonite with his little kind of chip damage where DK can sustain through that. So Tower's going to be very vulnerable. You've got an Enchantress that can rotate. The Phoenix can be there. And Shadow Demon Clockwork from the boys on G2IG, like it feels like that can be very difficult. So the map's going to be very open. Then that can help a TA get Roshan. And then, you know, we see once you've got an open
Rune went through from Nothing to Say as we're getting one at the moment as he's walking towards the rune.
It's just funny to watch him. Like, it seemed like he was trying it. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe not. I mean,
no.
He's played it.
Give him more credit than that. Come on.
Yeah, sorry. He's played a lot of Puck in pubs so far.
Are they going to be able to get up onto the high ground before the smoke breaks? They will. So right now, slight advantage to G2IG with some of their movement. Fishman with those overprotective wisps as well. Be in a great position to be able to stop any sort of gank.
I know the green dragon has been nerfed a lot recently. Is this? Are we now seeing the mid lane DKs go for the fire dragon instead?
A little bit. I mean, I think this is just another one of those games where if they wanted, kind of like last game. Hold on, Watson, you're going a little bit deep there, especially considering you know where that they're all hanging around there with that observer ward. Like, what are they going to do if you go later? Is my concern, right? Late game Phoenix, insane. Late game DK, insane. Late game TA, insane. Like, it's very concerning. Even Fishman's going to turn into a carry eventually, and you kind of want that, especially going up against JT if it gets to the later stages, right? All that pure damage is going to do a ton. And they
do you feel like you could say the same?
Sorry, they picked the Wind Ranger into the enchant as well. Like, that's another concern for mine. So, like, he's going to just offensively dispel you quite a lot. And even if it gets to the later stages with JT going into, like, let's say an Ags, you can dispel that reactive armor just with your enchant.
Watching the shenanigans that was occurring down bottom, honestly, Radiant did a pretty good job to body block just as much, especially when they had the cogs advantage as well, but Watson tried to drag the wave out. Nonetheless, it will shove into G2IG's favor, and they got a choreo snipe as well.
Sure did. I think we were talking about it, right, in the aftermath of Game 1. A team of champions is G2IG, and I feel like they're going to need to channel that if they're going to come out with a win here. Like, if Nothing to Say can somehow even break even with no one, that's going to be a huge tick for them. If Monet and Xnova are able to keep some of the pressure away, maybe get a couple of kills here and there on Takatomi, punish him if he misjudges his Icarus dive capabilities, that's going to be a big plus as well. So it just comes down to, are they going to be able to outplay Cloud9? Because I think Cloud9 have outdrafted them quite heavily.
Definitely not the position you want to put yourselves in. See what G2IG are able to do. So far, a very good start in all three lanes. Superboker is being a bit of a nuisance with the cogs, and Watson's over on the other side, so not able to do that much to the clockwork. But yeah, a really good start for Cloud9. Nothing to Say he's getting pressured heavily onto the tier 1 tower.
Don't worry, he's got the curveball. Everything is okay as long as you got the curveball. They have just gone back to the well with a lot of the similar sorts of things, right? Timbersaw happening again, Wind Ranger, happening again. And it didn't exactly give it the greatest amount of success in that game, number one, right? At least this time around, they've got a puck to like guarantee that you're going to get some Timber Saw damage coming through, or you're going to guarantee that Clockwork Battery Assault isn't going to get run away from.
Man, nothing to say.
Nearly dying, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we didn't say it enough as well. If we go back to like old No One days, his Conquer and DK were his best heroes. I mean, sure, you pick up the Storm. Hang on a second, No One. Okay, Fairy Fire is going to be there, but still the damage almost enough. I mean, No One's got a very diverse hero pool. You can think of his Puck, his Storm, his Ember, but then also those days when he was playing like the Conquer and going like, he was really the Radiance DK builder for a while. This is without a doubt one of his better heroes, and he's bodying mid lane, and this is to be expected as well. Again, the stun onto the orb. You see how much pressure it's putting, and now it's like, where does he go?
Okay, maybe he does need to test the curveball a little bit. Oh, straight back to the lane. Nope. But I mean, kind of like what we were saying about Watson earlier. I feel like you could do a similar sort of thing with No One, right? Like, I would say his Puck and his Storm Spirit are very signature for him as well. His Death Prophet as well is very signature. Sure. Like, so many things that this man is able to do. It's a reason why he was at the top of his game for quite a long time. And there are very few people his age that are still like known as some of the best mid laners in the world.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't think it gets spoken about enough at how he was able to move over to the position one. When I was watching his games on OG, I was very impressed with his performances. I felt like he was not potentially the issue with what was going on there. So always excited to see it. Always great to see No One still back in and having some great success on a really young, a roster with some new talent as well. And Watson showcasing 26-5, bodying bottom. And 15-0 here for JT, and again, like we were saying, like you don't have the Shadow Demon now to make stacks here for the Timber to maybe get ahead.
Old G just catching strays. Who was the problem on Old G?
I don't know, but I'm just saying I think he looked very good on a role that wasn't his. I know the ins and outs of that team. I just can't reveal who the problem was.
Absolutely, you've got the DMs.
Yes, I do. Top lane, first rotation, we're going to see the Enchantress start to come through the portal, and they've got a wave that's already prepped to dive. X-Nova's also used the banishments, and they're not going to have this defensively for Monet. The Boca will try and TP and then now offer some assistance. Not going to be stuck inside the tower range. Monet's going to be able to find the finishing blow with the power shot. Should also live to tell the tale unless Fishman finds him with the blood grenade, and that will be the case.
Very nicely done. Getting that little turnaround. Yeah, it sucks giving up the first blood. They thought they might even give it away through to X-Nova. He had 3 stacks of the Shadow Poison, but giving that first blood over to Monet is going to help him out a ton. But you still see the current state of the game. Even with that going their way, it's a 2k net worth lead, 6 minutes in. Pretty much every lane is going well for C9 right now. Not just in net worth, in levels too.
So they might be in some trouble. Okay. Jump away. Now, unfortunately for Boca, he's going to run into them, so kill and Elder Dragon form is used. They'll maybe try and chain this into a tower. They've got the catapult wave still.
Unlucky.
Oh, okay, well, wonderful. Illusion too.
You got the illusion. I think the bigger thing was that, like, it was on the top side, right? Nothing to say. It was fully prepped to be able to go down bottom, to be able to make it happen, and yeah, just didn't work on out. This TA is... It's a pretty godly TA game. Like, going up against a Timber Saw, going up against a Puck, it feels amazing.
It's without having the neutral creep from Fishman, they won't have something else to be able to take the tower, so he's lift down, but that's going to be able to stall out the first Elder Dragon form. It'll push the supports back to the side lanes.
They will, but I mean, it just takes them... In the time that they're moving supports to the side lanes, you needed to move cores on G2IG, and in that time, you solo have nearly taken the bottom tier 1 tower. It's less than half HP right now. And Fishman just, again, being so aggressive, placing wards behind the tower, understanding how deep you could potentially look to dive. So frustrating to have to play against, but he's gone the double braces once more, so... You just need to commit so much to take care of this Enchantress, and it's really not worth it at this stage. But you have to. That's the frustrating thing. You don't want to, but you have to.
This time, Fishman's going to show with the creep. And they will push Nothing to Say away. So, no glyph. And shortly, a tower that's not going to be in a position where they can defend it. Another creep wave is going to come out. Damage has been done.
He's needing to be very, very cheeky.
They're going to stampede for him.
Well,
Cheeky is what he's been, but it's not going to will it? I mean, he's playing on a knife's edge. Nothing to Say might tick out of the Blowgrave. 5 health. It's going to look for the deny fate. Well done. I mean
they protected their tower too. Like, that's a pretty big move, you know, just to be able to get that rotation away. Oh, Katami gets the regen rune though, so even though he's sitting pretty low, he's happy to go for this dive onto Bobacut. And he's just going to die slowly. One more Fiery Spirit. Oh, dodges it, I think. He lives. Alright. Couple of little wins going G2IG's way. That's that individual prowess that we were talking about, but it just delays the inevitable. Tower's still going to go down.
And still the lead over the DK in the park, 14-1500. So, I don't know, let's see how the game continues to play, but I really do wonder on what the discussion was and what other heroes they had to pick into the DK. As we were saying before it was coming out, like, yes, he's been playing a lot in pubs, but like, this is not a good matchup versus the Dragon. Not only that, but also the supports that can rotate mid as well. And Fishman's is a 5 stack as well. They can just take this if they want to. I mean, this is looking really scary for G2IG.
Oh yeah. And he's just going to try and chase down X-Nova on his own. Just be as annoying as possible. Might even just use the enchant on one of those illusions created by the disruption. No. Just take another tower, because why not? And again, you're going up against a Wind Ranger and a Timbersaw. Lots of unavoidable damage. Blade Mail feels pretty godly, especially considering like he's maxed out Retaliate on DM. They're not going for kills in that lane, so the fact that they were even able to, you know, have him be assisting in one is a big bonus for the Temple.
Should be able to get Kataomi mid lane. Second kill, maybe? They're gonna miss some of the damage with the spells being off the mark. Katsuomi tries to get the dive away, not to the low ground, but do they know he's there? Duke's over to the right side. Katsuomi tries to dodge the blood grenade. Okay, he will go down. He takes a long time to get the kill in. Is that gonna give them an opportunity for anyone else to die? Doesn't look like that will be the case. So finally, they'll get something.
Good God, if he got away from that, I would have absolutely lost it. That is just knowing every little intricate juke point, every facet of the map, all those sorts of things just to be able to get away. And X-Nova ruins the party with a Shadow Poison.
No, we've kind of tried to do our best to go down to bottom whenever we can, but again, we can do it with Watson taking the T1 tower, and he's still 5,800 top net worth. And like you were saying before, it's a Gothic PA game. And you have all this map, and it is going to continue to go away with ease. Versus...
So, not only are you very cheeky with those cogs, not only are you going to be losing towers, not only are you going to be losing Roche, you've also... You can just see what he's got queued up, right? Aghanim Shard coming through. Amazing game for the Aghanim Shard. Not only are you resisting a lot of the damage that the Puck and the Timber are able to throw at you, you're also just enabling them to be locked down for so much more with that silence coming through from the Psionic Trap. Means that, you know, eventually, I'm sure they're going to look to synergize it. Well, no one's already got the Blink Dagger, actually, with that. So you'll have a dead Puck pretty consistently this game, I'd say, once you get those few extra items. Just give it maybe 4 more minutes or so.
Are we in desperate times where someone is going to be out? This time it's onto the Enchantress. Stampede to maybe help them close the distance on some of the reinforcements. DK is here. The Fishman is making him work for the kill. One able to jump over the top. Hold some of the clockwork, but both got unable to escape, especially with the Breathe Fire being on the mark, so we're 1 for 1.
Took a long time to be able to take him down there. That's his 3rd bracer, and he's got the Seeds of Serenity as well. Wouldn't hate seeing him go like casual raindrops, but he's rushing into the Solar Crest, both to enable his team, further the Roshan taking potential, more minus armor to enable Watson just to be pretty devastating to have to deal with. And JT, you are dead, mate. This is not what I was expecting coming into this this series. I was expecting a lot more close than fought, maybe a 1-1, probably slightly favoring Entity because Cloud9 because of their recent game history, but maybe that recent series online did affect them in a big way. Like you can't lose 4v5 and not feel some kind of tilt from that.
I have to imagine they probably learned a lot from that as well. I mean, they're going to go again at the Enchantress. They are a little bit closer, but this time what needs going to be here with the damage that was maybe lacking for them to blow them up and then stop the reinforcements for firing a rebuttal. Let's see if they can re-control their triangle, though. Potentially a bit too late.
I mean, that was coil and focus fire for a position 5, though, with 4 heroes rotating. Bobika wasn't involved just because he wasn't there and he doesn't have the rocket flare skilled up yet. Like, you're giving up a lot just to get a position 5 who's already pretty tanky. So, I don't know. I hope for their sake that it's going to be able to... They're going to be able to turn the tide shortly, because right now they're just getting outscaled, they're getting out-leveled. You're starting to hit into some of these bigger timings as well. DM starting to build towards the pipe, and once again, it does feel like they've once again drafted a very single damage type heavy draft. Like, it is very magic heavy on G2IG's side.
And I'm really just waiting to see. It's probably when Roche moves to top is when they're they look to take it for Cloud9. I mean, it is not that desolated build for Watson. But nonetheless, he's been really happy with what he's been able to get out of the map. Like, they are already starting to occupy right next to the T2 tower, and we see again, this is without the age advantage. Maybe they're actually going to try and make the attempt on someone A. Potentially happy with forcing out some reactions, which they will get. Fishman's going to be locked inside the cogs. Monet will try and do his best to turn here with the focus fire, but the damage is still lacking until JT gets involved. Coil will snap instantly. Kataomi always has a threat of the supernova, and they will not continue to go for more from G2IG. So the tower kind of protected again. I don't think they were really trying to force it there from Cloud9. Getting some reactions out, it will be the Enchantress that goes down, but they had to bring everyone.
They had to bring everyone, and again, it's just an Enchantress. Like, that's the thing. You still used Focus Fire. You still used Dream Coil. I suppose they've got the attitude that, look, we're probably not able to kill anything else anyway, so we may as well get the kill while we can. We may as well protect our tier 2 tower and not just sit back and do nothing. But all that time, Watson was just inside of his ancient camps farming. Like, he's got the Aghanim Shard now, like, right at the 15-minute mark, and he's halfway towards the Desolator already.
Well done. Instant D-ward. And I was honestly about to mention that word, saying like maybe this could be an important one for G2IG, because we know there's probably a fight to break out around top with Roshan being there now and then wanting to clump up and take the T2 tower, but that vision is gone. Watson is a little bit isolated. They are starting to ping him. Hookshot's going to be online. Refraction back up in a couple of seconds, but he's already got the blink away, so Watson's finding out with the counter. No one tries to get the jump over the top. DM without the blink dagger, though, means there will be no more follow-up. And this is very deep. Previously, they've only been getting kills on supports. This time, it's on a juicy one. We see what the Timber Sword's able to do. These strength heroes, they can go down incredibly fast. And now Watson steps up. Watson!
What is he doing?
They're already dead. There was nothing to be had there. Watson. And honestly, 3 heroes at Cloud9 give a big opportunity. Now, Fishman as well. He gives another opportunity. So, I mean, you had a 6,000 net worth lead, and now that's going to be cut down to potentially 2,000. Cloud9 giving them science of life here for G2IG, when if they played this flawlessly, this could have been potentially 25, maybe 30-minute GG, but, I mean, this is now 2,000 deficit.
Fishman's, I understand, at the very end there. Like, he was just trying to get something out of that engagement, and he nearly took out the tier 2 tower on his own, so...
JT bottom, supernova, oh my god, Kataomi. Solo kill.
Solo kill, and you speak the man, and he appears. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, if they were fighting with Kataomi, by all means, go for that deep dive, right? Like, he had the Sunray maxed out. He had the supernova available for himself and his team. but they just didn't. They had very little team fight. They were relying on big net worth get kill. And, you know, there is some stage where that's going to work, but not if you're going up against a Timbersaw that's actually able to dish out a pretty decent amount of damage.
See if they can buy back as there's some big items being picked up. Yours on Kataomi, 11.5. And importantly, the Orchid on no one, though. So, against the Puck, of course, but, you know, with the Wind Ranger as well. Timber, no Dispellers at the moment.
Watson's not there, so they're going to go for the dive.
Look at the silence before the dive away. Not going to be able to do so. JT with an aggressive charge into the middle. Cole is pretty decent as well into multiple members. Can Monate start to get the AoE damage? And it's going to be caution with the Blade Mail. Forced to disengage. Now with the Stampede, gives some time, especially for Watson to close the distance as well, as the main damage source shows up, gets the kill onto the Timber. And it looks like with the rest of G2IG, we'll have to get away. So just a little bit short on potentially getting that extra control, getting rid of Kataomi to start the fight, and maybe it looks a little bit different.
Maybe it does, and I really feel like the only thing stopping them from going down and getting towers now, they're just waiting for Watson to get that Desolator, right? It takes a little bit too long for them to be able to secure a bunch of these towers without that. They're actually looking to move on forward to potentially try and pick him off, but a well-placed trap is going to scout out Monet for now. Looks like they should... I was about to say they should be able to get this tier 2 top, but they've got the glyph, and it will be refreshed if they're looking to try and commit onto this. So yeah, just look to quickly take out the creep wave, keep it up for as long as possible, but again, just delaying the inevitable, it seems. What was the win probability before all of that shenanigans happened? Only 65%. I'm surprised. I would have had it at least 80.
Nothing to say. Still away, but no one. Hot pursuit.
Good positioning by
Boca. Yeah, he's going to be forced to try and jump in with a hook shot to protect him. Meanwhile, Watson on the other angle. Look at the silence and the damage. Watson maybe actually stepped a little bit too far forward. Monet gets rid of the refraction straight away. Now he's gone. Supernova's in a great spot. I mean, X-Nova can't enter, and meanwhile, you are just stuck inside the river for Monet. So Monet will go down. It's a 1 for 2, and Kataomi trying to catch up to X-Nova, but he's going to go to the north instead of towards the eastern side of the map.
You just see the difference, even just with Kataomi being there, right? Like, you've got the Blinding Sun, really effective against the Wind Ranger, with all those right clicks coming out from her consistently, and they know that this is the time to be able to be trying to take these fights prior to that BKB being available, because she just feels so relatively weak going up against Fishman, who's got the enchant, with the Blinding Sun available, with, you know, yourself still being able to be stunned, slowed down, whatever it might be. It just feels so squishy. So not only are they not getting a very favorable trade, you're still dying and giving up a bunch of that unreliable gold.
Are we seeing any signs of life though for G2IG in regard to like maybe something in these fights that they could look to, you know, further use to their advantage? I mean, it's a 6,000 deficit, but we have seen they've been able to get some kills and some important ones as well.
It's hard to say, honestly. Like, you've got now a Guardian Greaves on JT, so not exactly what you want to see a Timbersaw buying a lot of the time. But with that being said, it's kind of necessary, considering you're going up against the silence from the TA. You don't want to get caught out by that. So at least he's going to be a little bit more active in a bunch of these team fights. I think I still need to see them playing a lot more around, you know, hookshot into Blink Timbersaw combination onto Kataomi, for example, before he's able to do anything in a lot of these engagements. If they can accomplish that, you might say that they're back in this game somewhat, because it might mean that Kataomi needs to itemize even more defensively than he has right now.
And speaking about the defensive itemization, I mean, it's a very long build-up for nothing to say with the Lincolns instead of something like a USF. So he's going to have a difficult time still with showing up to fights, and we already see that Cloud9 are feeling strong enough to be able to force down this Roshan. There will be no fight to be had. G2IG looks like they're just going to keep this one up.
Just dies way too quickly. No real point in contesting it. The other one's taking damage as well because of Fishman being the one to tank it up with that untouchable. So now Watson can actually look to play that bit more aggressively. He's got the second life to be able to do so. He's got the Desolator building into the MKB as well. So just another way to be able to deal with that Wind Ranger. They've already got so many different ones, and it's just going to improve from here on out.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I respect it. Baboka using his full health border. Trying to farm one on Ancients. You gotta get some farm.
It's in a sad state, Clockwork, right now. You know, I think the cogs need to be overpowered for it to be pickable, because you don't do much beyond like the laning stage and early mid game.
Alright, everyone was there for it. Let's see if they're able to avoid this upcoming fight. 5,000 lead for Cloud9 with the Aegis.
Doesn't seem like they're ready to go just yet, though. Like, what's the reason that you would want to go just yet, right? You've got 4 minutes left on the Aegis. You've got 400 gold left until BKB on no one. Probably not going to get a Crimson Guard anytime soon on DM, but I mean, even just the BKB feels so free to take a lot of these fights. It means you're not worried at all about anyone but the Wind Ranger. And even then, like, are you really that worried about the Wind Ranger?
So if they should be. Monade is second in net worth, but maybe not at that stage where they need to be worried. They will smoke from Cloud9. DM's going to reveal himself inside the lane.
There's wards placed down, though, by G2IG. They've got good vision in both top jungle, bottom jungle, lanes in a decent spot as well outside of that mid one.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Smoke on smoke. They really want to play around
I
that.
might favor them. I'm just going to pod. DM doesn't get the initiation. Look at the damage coming through from the Timber. DM almost going to be brought down, but he's okay. Now Baboka stuck inside the middle. Nothing to say, in some danger, but the Wolf Stomp's going to land. They should be able to deal with the puck. It's a beautiful location of the Supernova. They cannot address it. All they can do is just split away. JT to the west, but they can hunt him down. There's going to be no escape for the Timbersaw. Watson and Cohen hot pursuit. Meanwhile, no one. He also was able to catch up to X-Nova. JT actually will be able to get some further distance away. Maybe they're just going to leave him. Feels like it will take a little bit too long. So he will escape, but again, no one. He was able to catch up to the secondary support, and back to mid they go. But yeah, I mean, we saw it was an okay start. They almost dealt with the Centaur, but he got everything off, and the egg was really perfect on the high ground for Kataomi.
That's the key thing, right? Like, he was able to pop everything, right? Blade Mail used, Pipe used. It means that you can't really commit super heavily on Monet for that team fight. It just feels so awkward, right? That they need to use everything onto him. He's not the one that you want to start on. You want to start on Kataomi for this fight, because you saw how impactful he was.
It's up to no one who doesn't really have anyone nearby. We look for the BKB TP out, and we no way to address this, so no one's going to be okay.
It's not really to get away as well. No tier 2 tower mid, no tier 2 tower top. Don't really need to venture down towards the bottom side of the map just yet. I was actually looking to go for a bit of a solo kill here. Is Kataomi onto Corvoca as he flaps away. We'll get away.
Portal 2 wants to help the boys out.
No one doesn't have BKB, remember. Oh, and he just got clipped with the Shadow Poison, so no Blink Dagger. Able to join the rest as DM. They want something, and they'll take it, even though it's just X-Nova. Worth it at this point if it's going to open up that bottom side of the map. Take all outer towers, and maybe they could wait for the next Roche. Maybe they wait for the Tormentor. Maybe they wait for even just the Wisdom Rune. But they are still very firmly in the driver's seat.
Out they are. High ground is gonna be the call. So Cloud9. Not much to stop them. Half duration of the other Dragon Form. Got the Dark Troll Summoners as well to work with. This tower's gonna fall fast.
They found, I was about to say they found nothing to say. He's hanging around on the left-hand side, so they know there's no puck. JT is going to walk underneath a ward as well, so they know he's inside the jungle. No Timbersaw, and that's where
they're going to go.
Part of the burst damage is coming from.
The Aegis is almost out for 20 seconds. They want to try and deal with the Dragon Knight instead, but look at the Sunray bonus health, and now with the egg placed on the low ground, they got to get out. So this will at least give them time to reset. Again, Aegis out in 10 seconds, so Watson will get some regen up, and maybe they want to feel like there's an angle to go back in, or maybe with Supernova to just disconnect and play them out.
It was a really nice Icarus dive as well. Katomi fed
Well done.
greater healing Lotus through to the people that were in danger on top of the Sunray as well. So very, very dangerous to have to go up against that. I'm sure he's even telling no one, hey, some of those Lotuses. Really effective for me, as I believe he's almost finished up that Scythe of Vice. Yeah, right now he's got enough to be able to get it just 27.5 minutes in.
God damn. He's so farmed. He's so farmed, dude. What? 400, if that, net worth deficit between him and the puck?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people just forgot about this puck hero, apparently.
I don't know. Oh, it's actually going to jump over the top. Wanting to try and deal with the valuable Shadow Demon support, but meanwhile they let the clock work, so they'll go back and finish him. The blinks have already been used, unfortunately.
Might even be getting to the point where you just buy a gem on Cloud9, right? Like, just don't give them any vision outside of the base, because if you can't jump the backline, what are you supposed to do on G2IG? Like, you really never need to put yourself in a position to get gone on if you're Phoenix, for example. I think Katomi is still, like, the staple part of their entire
Scan?
team fight.
Oh. Okay. On cue, when you said that, the Enchantress got a gem, so Fishman just got that picked up. I don't know who has it placed. Is continuing to go. 12,000 net worth lead, 28 minutes in. They are kind of moving down bottom to deal with Katomi, who's a lot of net worth. Would be a big kill if they're going to be able to find him. They should be able to do so. Stampede.
Got to do something. I mean, they've been fighting really well, maybe just using the fear factor, I guess, to force them to want to back off and not commit forward for the kill, but that is their first tower that they've been able to get the entire game, Lockie, and it's one that does open up the map a fair amount, right? They're going to need to protect this vision, though, because, like we were saying, gem freshly purchased by C9 means that they're just going to be able to sweep across the map together. No one going to be the one holding it. He is by far the tankiest on the lineup. Where is their vision right now? It's really just that one, huh? I've got
There's not much.
Yeah.
What do we need to continue to see a little bit differently for G2IG in these upcoming fights? It's 9,000 deficit. What has to change, though?
I'm thinking. Trust me when I tell you I'm thinking hard about what needs to change, because not much is changing for SD, not much is changing for the Clockwork. I guess you do have the Aghanim Shard now on X-Nova, so that's a nice little bit of protection against the silence coming from the TA especially. So I'm sure he's looking to try and use that onto Nothing to Say as much as possible, but it's still such a rough game to have to try and come back from. Like, where is the damage going to come? It honestly has to be Monet, right? He's so close to his level 20. You would love to have that prior to this. They know that this smoke is going on, though, with the trap underneath the regen rune. But with that Daedalus and, you know, Enchanted Quiver, Glipnir, it's a lot of damage coming out.
So, but knowing the smoke's going on, will not connect. So, obviously, Roche 35 seconds. They might be able to get some vision set up around the area, though.
Mm-hmm. A nice little start, is Nothing to Say. Very ballsy, I suppose, just seeing the Tormentor being taken, realizes that they're not really going to be up on this top side of the map, just wants to fix the lane somewhat, make the eventual Roshan a little bit less obvious, and TP is actually coming back from X-Nova here, maybe just wanting to help the boys out as they go for their own Tormentor, but is this going to put them out of position when Roshan does eventually spawn? It's only 5 seconds away. Kind of feels like they're not accomplishing much, you know? They're just backed off for no real reason, given up their positional advantage. DK...
Now they'll come out
gem.
On Radiant? Yeah, so.
Because he didn't check that high ground, so you've got a bit of vision over Fishman, although
I scan.
Denied it.
Scans on the mark, so they know they're outside the base. But like you said, without that observer ward on the high ground, you're going to kind of have to play to the right side where Watson is set up with some traps. They're going to scout him out. the blink away, and of course they have the UAV now with the clockwork online as well. They are under the cover of the smoke still for a little bit of time. In fact, the smoke reapplied once again.
Just give him all the vision possible. DM
all
really
good.
dangling himself out there, realizing how beefy he is at this stage of the
JT,
game.
he didn't get the jump over. Oh, JT didn't latch onto the tree. Now they need to just blindly jump in to protect him. Except it doesn't even buy him enough time. They want to try and turn to deal with the super. It's not in the greatest spot to protect it. And number 8, he's just going to charge into the middle as well, but he's got to respect the damage from Watson with the MKB. He's almost gone in a couple of seconds. Banishment will not save him. Watson stands his ground, turns to nothing to say. Watson, just so much raw damage up. It will finally go down. But now with JT off the back of the buyback, he should be able to get some revenge. Stampede is actually still available for them to work with, and no one will scurry away. So that's 3 heroes that go down. A buyback used from JT as well.
That would have been a disaster if X-Nova wasn't able to clean up Watson at the very end there. Big amount of gold going the way of the Shadow Demon. So, I mean, it still isn't the cleanest, of course. Like, you lose 4 heroes, you lose a buyback on your Timber Saw, you're still on the bottom side of the map, Roshan, so you should be able to claim it in about a minute's time when Watson's up. And a long death timer, by the way. I guess he's just that damn farmed, but I'm just trying to envisage like the stage of the game that it needs to get to for X-Nova to really feel hugely impactful, you know? It feels like a lot of what he's doing is respond to the single target lockdown that they've got and then try and use the disseminate onto Timbersaw's target and just have a huge amount of AoE damage, break that pipe instantly so that you do at least get some of that damage coming back the other way with the Maelstrom on the puck, with the Focus Fire Glipnir on the Wind Ranger.
Only back live through the portal into the waiting hands of G2IG, which maybe gives them a bit of an opportunity. This is 50 seconds without the Phoenix, and Roche is still down bottom for 45 seconds.
That is a very odd positioning coming through from them. I mean, no one had revealed on the map for quite some time, and knew that Roshan was pretty much guaranteed to be on the bottom side of the map at that stage, and just walking down there solo felt like a bit of an odd choice. They looked to maybe peek their heads in and see what's going on, but they take it pretty quickly themselves with Monet now having a pretty decent amount of farm himself.
Roche's banner onto JT. Age is going to be given over to Monet. Looks like he has to go the satanic route, especially with all the damage that we're seeing come back from the Retaliate.
Mm-hmm. Nothing to say is able to get into that Aghanim Scepter, then well, it's pretty good with all of that damage coming out from the Enchanted Quiver, from the Witchblade, from the Maelstrom. At that point, he's only 1,000 gold away, and maybe this Aegis is going to be enough to be able to stall out. He even gets a free Aghanim shard as well.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Still feels like he needs more though, right? Like,
yeah.
We've seen really ultra late game has been, the dataless is even something that we've seen very often for the pucks, and see Parasma, we haven't seen that in such a long time, so it still needs a lot of items, but I think really the main thing you were saying, right, is the fact that this Aegis is just time for them.
Yeah. It still needs to be very careful on top of everything, right? Because you're still going up against a TA who's got an insane amount of burst damage and the Aghanim shot. You walk one step in the wrong place, you're dead. He's got nothing to be able to save himself. It's all like...
Onto mid lane, onto JT, but X-Nova's going to be there. So the banishment to try and protect him. Silence going to be worn off. The counter's still going to be there. DM finds the opening. Hex is also onto the Wind Ranger. They just lose the agents without a response. They need the puck to hold them into place, but a defensive supernova kind of counters the coil. Ultimate's expended between either side, but still, you're pretty happy with that for Cloud9. You get the Aegis. Now you do not have this slight advantage potentially for G2IG. And we see, still, this has to be picture perfect for them inside the team fights.
It's a lot of damage that was output, but not much result, right? Like, very, very quickly able to take out the Wind Ranger, but no BKB was forced by Monet. And, you know, this is the advantage of having a farm position 4 like the Phoenix that doesn't need a Blink Dagger, just able to dive in with all of that extra vision provided with these TA traps. Comfortably able to do so. Yep.
Oh, look at the burst potential.
Oh, he missed
no,
it.
we went to the aggressive banishment accidentally. Now, Watson is in, but maybe once it doesn't matter. Look at the raw damage output. Monet tries to get back to the high ground. It's just alive. The MKB from Watson. They will respect them still nonetheless. I mean, you got the kill onto the puck. You're not going to try and dive up at the high ground, but man, we just see Monet cannot run into the middle.
Absolutely not. Like, you just have so much of that turnaround potential. You've got so much of the evasion pierce. You've got blade mails. You've got retaliate coming back the other way. It's pretty devastating, to be honest. Even just going for... Pretty rarely that you don't see Centaurs going the Stampede cooldown at level 20. He is all in on the retaliate, even going for the talent for it. And I mean, imagine if it gets to 25, retaliate aura.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do at that point?
Yeah.
They're just sieging from afar, acting as artillery, delaying the game further. Going to get into that next item for the puck. He just finished up the Aghanim Scepter at least, so that's a little bit of extra damage output for him, but could be also bad for him if it means that he plays a little bit cockier, because you saw how quickly he was able to get burst down just then. But you kind of need to just bank on your own individual skill and play this glass cannon route.
Very fine. I mean, one team fight is really what we've been waiting for Cloud9, just to completely break open this game, get high ground, and full set of barracks to be their advantage, because they will push incredibly fast with their lineup. And this is a DK build that we see from a lot of the carries at the moment. And the scan probably means he's going to be able to get a kill onto Baboka as well. And sure, reaction out of the 4 staff might be in time, and we see them with a TP out of the high ground.
Searching Sunray, not going to claim on into anything. It really does feel like the delay game. For the first time, though, I do see like an avenue for them to be able to get back into this on G2IG, right? Like, if Nothing to Say is able to get into his level 25, then suddenly Dreamcrawl Pierce and Immunity feels really good. If the Wind Range is able to have an undispellable Wind Run plus Aghanim Scepter, then you are reducing a lot of that damage that's coming back your way. I feel like Cloud9 aren't going to let that happen, though. I feel like they realize the time is now. They want to close it out before it gets to that dangerous stage.
So they're able to do so. No one... The middle under the Timber was here.
Retaliate's going to do the work for him. Sure. Does make life a little easier for everyone, though, not having to worry about towers, just dealing a bunch of free damage in a lot of these fights. But I mean, you even have to look at... Fishman's got a Moonshard on his Enchantress, so life is not necessarily easy for JT either. This is the point that I was talking about. Late game Enchantress is a menace for this Timber. You can still just enchant off the reactive armor and then go to town with right clicks.
The hidden ones have blessed me.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing the difference in supports with their scaling, right? Especially even late game is definitely not the worst, especially with your items. You know, some save and the aggressive like percent damage, especially now with the facet. But you're unable to keep up. You know, the Clockwork in particular. Scepter's okay to shove out the lanes and maybe give you information, but it feels like you are just not competing with the Enchantress and the Phoenix. And 19,000 lead, and maybe this will be the fight for them. Smoke on smoke. Nothing to Say once again is going to be caught inside the lane. X-Nova a little bit too late to get there with the banishment. Now he puts himself in the firing line.
It's a lot of damage.
When he tries to enter the fight, it's a decent amount. They almost get the Phoenix before the egg, but it's just not fast enough. Monet's able to juke down to the south, but unfortunately, DM, well, he should be able to lock onto JT. Do they want to continue to try and hunt the Timber Sword down, though? JT, another round of the Timber Chain up in a couple of seconds. We'll make it up into the high ground. DM slow in pursuit. Everyone else is starting to funnel towards him. JT considering about turning Monet as well, waiting in the trees. How are they going to enter this, though? Monet tries to go for Watson, but Watson, BKB is like, brother, you are not winning this fight. Just run back the other way. Don't even try it. As DM now is like, okay.
Blade Mail.
I mean, you can attempt it. Blade Mail, retaliate, very cool stuff. It's not going to matter in the end. As Watson TPing in the blink. Katsa Omi with the north. The pincer is there. Cloud9, it's just incredible stuff from them. A 5-man wipe, you just lose the Enchantress. Well, the team fights look so easy for them.
They do indeed. Might even be able to go into the left talent on the DK as well. Never mind, he just wants to live. Totally understandable. I mean, they were going for a pincer move of their own. It's just nothing to say got caught out about 5 seconds too early. I think that could have been a drastically different one if he just wasn't caught at the very beginning, because Phoenix was in their sights. They would have been able to burst down Kataomi. But yeah, just not quite able to synergize together, and I feel like that's been the case the entire game, right? When was the last time we actually had a legitimate 5-on-5 fight?
I feel like it's been one of the big critiques overall due to IG. Entity and being able to be on the same page. So the case once again, full set of barracks down bottom, mid, that glyph is only going to slow them down.
Still a creep alive there in the base, so the back door they have to be concerned about. They're actually got the kills.
Get away. As they try and find the opening, the pull does break onto Katsuomi, but they don't have the damage. That one, it's just a full set of barracks, top and mega creeps now online as well.
Yeah, megas, they don't have reactive armor for another 40 seconds, so now that you actually do have the Wind Ranger back, but you don't feel confident in having anyone going onto the front lines.
Let's see. The fun. Decent shackle on for 2. A lot of damage on the Enchantress as well, but Monate is gone. Oh my god, where'd he go?
Nothing to say, he's gone.
Who's going to be able to catch up the puck? They're all dead. And this game is over. It's been over for a long time as well. Cloud9. Like you were saying though, this team played against G2IG in an online tournament leading into the road to International. They were able to get a 2-0 victory, and that is the case once again. And they're looking pretty good.